What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll have a look at some of the wins that co-op multiplayer games and looter shooters have had over the last few years. Being one of the newest genres of games to release, it has gone through a few iterations. With each new game, new mechanics have been introduced to attract and retain players and differentiate each game from the ones that have come before. This is an ever-changing genre, and these are some of the cool features introduced to looter shooters. Story. At this point, it's hard to believe Destiny 1 and parts of Destiny 2 launched without a fully backed campaign in it. Story and lore were hidden behind the Grimoire and lore tabs. Fast forward to today, and Destiny 2 shines as an example of how to do story content mixed in with the looter shooter mechanics. With in-game cutscenes, voice recording, and specially designed campaign missions, it's clear 343 have dug into the wealth of experience from the Halo franchise and are now flexing that muscle in Destiny. The most recent expansion, The Witch Queen, is marked as the best Destiny campaign Bungie have released yet. And we can expect more up to and including 2024 when Lightfall and the Final Shape release, concluding the Light vs Dark saga that began back in 2014. Gameplay. It can be argued that looter shooters were a derivative of first-person shooter games and the multiplayer components that came with them. With games like Destiny 2 and Borderlands 3 carrying some traditional FPS features, it is not above embracing modern features or changing the game entirely. Yes, Destiny 2's gunplay is up there with the best, but other games like Marvel's Avengers and Anthem offered a different take to multiplayer co-op games. Marvel's Avengers ditched the guns and leaned into each Avenger's unique, I say that loosely, abilities. This game makes you feel like an Avenger. Wielding Captain America's shield or Thor's hammer has never felt so real. Anthem introduced a mechanic that I personally still hope resurfaces: flight. This game crashed and burned, but made you feel like Iron Man way better than Marvel's Avengers ever did. Both games have had terrible launches and one of them have lost support from the developer, but there is still an active community playing because they're just fun. Open world. Most games in this genre are not technical open world games. Games like Destiny 2, Borderlands 3 and Marvel's Avengers use zoned areas that you have to load into as a pseudo open world environment. Apart from Marvel's Avengers, these areas are quite distinct from each other, offering unique, jaw-dropping, gorgeous zones with a myriad of things to do in them. However, The Division and The Division 2 stands above as the only game on this list to recreate an existing city and color it with the dilapidation expected after a viral apocalypse. Snow-covered New York City and sun-drenched Washington are not only gorgeous but dense. There is so much to do in these open worlds, and it's clear Ubisoft leaned heavily on their pedigree to create amazing open worlds. Buildcraft and difficulty scaling. Speaking of The Division 2, it ticks all the boxes when it comes to Buildcraft and being able to use your builds in higher tier activities including PvP in the Dark Zone. A small feature but an absolute win is the ability to save your builds and loadouts and be able to call upon them mid-mission, something none of the other games on this list can do. This little feature encourages build crafting and testing, an essential feature for any co-op PvE game that launches in future, I think. Crossplay. The gap in performance between consoles and computers is no longer an issue. Every cooperative multiplayer game needs to have crossplay. I understand implementing this feature is a major undertaking. There are a few games on this list that would fare better if the platforms would just play nice with each other. Prime example is Marvel's Avengers. Over March 2022, according to Steam charts, the average number of players was 300. As a result, you could easily find yourself doing the best activities in this game solo, not by choice. Destiny 2 invested in this tech and it has paid dividends, unifying the experience across multiple consoles and streaming platforms like Stadia. Borderlands 3 have implemented crossplay between Xbox and PC, with Sony consoles getting the feature later in 2022. Crossplay can only make the PvE play experience better. The worst thing that can happen to any cooperative multiplayer game is having empty lobbies. There are plenty of other shooters out there that I have not mentioned, including Outlanders, Deep Rock Galactic, and the excellent Warframe. These three alone are so different from each other and represent more examples of a genre that is hard to define but extremely influential and addictive. While the genre has scaled immensely in the last decade, there are still a few cautionary tales like Avengers and Anthem. Still, there is plenty of good things all these games have done, and we cannot wait for the next big thing around the corner. That's it. Thank you so much for watching, we really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it and would like to see more, hit that like button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next upload. Thanks again for watching, and we will chat in the next one. Cheers.